Visionary, Azuri.
So why is he switched to elves? Like, what are the new cards? Yeah, both these players, Anthony Eason picking up his only loss so far on camera. So it actually is interesting with this elves deck is I don't think there's any new cards in it. I think there's nothing out of M13.
Elvish Visionary.
Elvish Visionary wasn't.
I don't think that was an M12, was it?
That's true. Yeah, both players are X1, so he's got Archdruid, Llanowar Elves, Arbor Elf, Visionary, Azuri, Birds, Copperhorn Scout.
Yeah, Elvish Visionary and Arbor Elf are our new elves.
Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, that makes sense. He has red just for a Huntmaster of the Fells and 4 bonfires.
4 bonfires is nothing to sneeze at.
No, in this matchup, it's going to be pretty weak. Anthony Eason, if you recall, is playing a mostly artifact-based control deck with Trading Post and Mass Mutilate.
I mean, I'm going to predict Anthony is going to, unless, I'm going to check Joe's sideboard in a second, but unless Joe has a great sideboard, I think Anthony is going to 2-0 this. Now I'm going to look. He's got Sword of War and Peace and Thragtusk to help himself out against a control deck. I think that Anthony is going to 2-0 him.
Mono Black is very good at dealing with this. You know, Mutilate, a heck of a card against Joe's deck. Curse of Death Soul. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of really potent tools here.
Yeah. 4 Mutilate, 3 Black Sun Zenith, 2 Curse of Death's Hold, and then Tumble Magnet to stop a big thing.
Alright, so Anthony going down to 6. Remember last time Game 1 we saw Anthony mull to 3 on camera.
I think that Anthony's land might be camera shy.
Yeah. So here we go, 2 strong players playing very new archetypes. Pretty exciting.
Joe, if anything, has had a love affair with Kessig Wolfrun. He kind of premiered a Wolfrun. I don't want to call it a Wolfrun Red. Let's call it a Red plus Wolfrun deck. Not so many tournaments ago, which was basically a Reckless Waif Red style aggro deck, which also had Kessig Wolfruns as a finisher, as well as Garrett.
Copperhorn Scout is turn 1 play. Excellent. And we get Nile Spellbomb from Anthony Eason. He's playing just 1 Nile Spellbomb. It's essentially a cantrip here.
Elvish Visionary, another cantrip. I'll see your Nile Spellbomb and raise it. Sphere, that's exactly the kind of opening Anthony wants. Just a little bit of acceleration. And amusingly, his spheres are way better. He's got Trading Post. He can get rid of an empty sphere and make something of it.
And Sphere doesn't sacrifice itself when it runs out. All right, so swinging in for
4. Now, the reason you see an untapped Visionary is Copperhorn Scout.
Now remember, the amount of mana that this Elvish Visionary can make in tandem with the Scout is really powerful here.
Joe, totally ready to throw his cards away. Solemn Simulacrum. That's the original art there, so you can actually see the image of Jens Thorin, the Invitational winner, whose likeness is on that card.
Right, it's not on the other Solemn Simulacrum.
I think that it is a travesty that any Invitational card ever reprinted is not somehow including the original imagery. It can be a different art. Just make sure you get Kai Buddha on there. Make sure you get Chris Bakula.
Chris Bakula, who turned into a woman on this reprint.
I actually think it would be fun to buy the original art of the new Meddling Mage and give it to him as a gift, because he's trying to find the original art for the actual current, or the original Meddling Mage, and he can't find it anywhere. If you are out there and you have the original...
So the artist doesn't know where it is?
The artist sold it. It's gone. It's out there in the universe somewhere. In a vault. Elvish Visionary threatens... not Visionary, sorry. Archdruid, the Archdruid threatens a lot of mana right now. That's 6 mana. Could be 9 mana during combat if you had anything to do with it.
Right, well, Bernal wants to commit more to the board, but he has to be a little hesitant about doing so. He's got to be worried. You know, he could commit a second Archdruid into here. I think he has one. I think he's got to be worried about a Zenith or a Mutilate or...
I mean, he has Visionaries in his hand, which kind of are quasi, you know, committing, but I think we're going to see the Elvish Visionary.
Hope he's not tapping the crag for it, though, I presume.
Joe Bernal on the right with a green-red Elves deck, playing against mono-black control with trading posts from Anthony Eason. Joe has a Green Sun Zenith in his hand, so I think what he's doing right now is he's trying to figure out if he waits, if he can lay an Azuri and do something useful with it on the same turn.
Yeah, a lot of decisions here. Where really, Anthony doesn't have the sweeper. What Anthony is going to do is he has a batter scope.
Okay, and finally see the Visionary? There it is, the Visionary finally comes down. Azuri is in Joe's hand. He taps the Archdruid, gets an Azuri with 1 mana left. Now,
so yeah,
all the Copper Scout.
With Archdruid is, this is a lot of mana. So he's going to get an overrun out of this. I don't believe it's lethal.
Llanowar Elf. Lay a land for the turn. Attack. Attack. Definitely not lethal, but still useful. And you get to untap that Visionary too, I believe. Or is it just one thing that gets untapped?
No, it's all of them.
Yeah, so your Visionary is untapped, Joe.
Now, he opted not to overrun there. Instead, he's opting to leave up regen mana, which is a little weird because of how black decks play out. None of his kill spells care about silly things like regeneration.
Yeah, it's not Day of Judgment, it's Mutilate.
Yeah, if Anthony
it's Black Sun Zenith.
Yeah, I mean, if Eason can't kill all his stuff right now, Eason loses.
I think Ethan loses.
Yeah, he has to Mutilate or Zenith, so maybe not getting 2-0'd.
Well, actually, wait a second. Anthony can only go -4/-4. And Joe can go +3/+3 to everything. Some of his stuff can survive.
A Mutilate?
Yeah. And the creature is untapped. I wonder if that is a trigger that cannot be avoided. Because Anthony's like, well,
I'm just dead. Does this cute little elf thing.
So Trading Post, the centerpiece of Anthony Eason's deck, a lot of people have made the same joke. It's the Settlers of Catan card for Magic the Gathering.
Yes. I think it's the goat that makes people think of Settlers.
Well, also, I'll have a goat for some stone.
Yeah.
You know?
So cards become life, lives become goats, goats become artifacts, artifacts become cards. Now, the conversion rates are such that it's just kind of good all around. That if you do it all, you profit a little bit. It's a very good Trading Post. Typically what you do is you pay life to make goats. I believe. That's like the default thing. When you have nothing better to do, you pay life to make goats.
Well, I mean, even there, you're getting a force field effect out of it, effectively. As long as they don't have trample, you can turn, at the very worst, a creature that would be hurting you for more than 1 into only hurting you for 1.
Right.
I've generally always been a fan of force field-like effects because as innocuous as they are, they do end up being very surprising in how much they can stop. One of the best cards in the red mirror in, I want to say, I guess that would be 2007, was Kerkeep. The actual best card in the red mirror was usually Mogg War Marshal.
Right.
But Kerkeep was just incredible because you'd both be sitting there with guys that would die, and the Kerkeep, if there was ever a moment where the game stalled out, you would just make some 0/1s, and at a certain point you could attack and your opponent couldn't. And then the burnout would happen on one end or the other, but it was just really crazy how effective that was. Mog War Marshal definitely by far better though.
Definitely, yeah.
Making so many guys all at once.
So, the Elves deck, we had an Elf deck like this, I think back in, what is it? When Copperhorn Scout, right when Scars came out, I want to say Craig Wesco had played this kind of deck. But really, yeah, Visionary has taken it back up a step.
I mean, also Arbor Elf, just to be able to have Llanowar Elf, Birds of Paradise, Arbor Elf. I mean, yes, you could have had
Arbor Elf
before,
was in the initial one.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you could have had in just yesterday's, not yesterday literally, but not so long ago's standard, you could have had a human there in the form of Avacyn's Pilgrim. But every card that isn't an elf really is a slight liability. I mean, Bird of Paradise at least can cast Boundfire.
Right, which means, and you just need more 1-mana creatures.
And Arbor Elf can make green mana so that Izuri can regenerate somebody. A long sideboard here between Joe and Anthony. Well, it took a few minutes there for Joe to beat Anthony. When Anthony wins, it probably takes a little bit longer in general. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan. I'm joined in the booth with Matthias Hunt. We are in what we'll call St. Louis.
Yeah, it's actually not St. Louis. We're in Collinsville, Illinois.
Collinsville is the real location. So if you are driving here tomorrow, make sure that you check the Star City Games webpage for the actual address in Collinsville so that you don't end up in St. Louis first. This is round 6 of 10. 422 players here today.
Yeah, so the question is, with Anthony Eason's deck, so we've had it on camera now for 3 games, and it really hasn't gotten its game going yet on any of them.
True.
So the question is, what does it do when it wins? Well, all right, it plays out, eventually it wins with a Wormcoil engine.
Right.
Maybe a Precursor Golem or Mubasir, but probably a Wormcoil engine. What does it do up to that point? It makes Trading Posts, Pristine Talismans, and Batter Skulls to recur the Wormcoil engine. And then plays kill spells, essentially. It's an artifact deck for them.
I mean, if you look at this on a, let's say a Star City Games deck page, you would see a lot more gray than you would see black with the card breakdowns. Anthony likely has brought in Go for the Throats and Ratchet Bombs, as well as probably a third Curse of the Death's Hold.
So turn 1 Swamp from Eason. Now turn 1 Rip on Crag from Bernal. Eason's got to be pretty happy about that. No turn 1 mana creature, which is really what Bernal's deck's built around. Surprised he doesn't have a 1-drop.
12 1-drop mana acceleration for Joe.
Yeah, and even last game he has Copperhorn Scout at the very worst. And Bernal's going to have a play here. He drops a Forest.
Visionary?
Yep.
Visionary
for a card. And Pristine Talisman will make a play for Eason.
I love that card.
Remember, when Elves, the thing with the Elves decks, when it deals damage in chunks of like hundreds, like this, in this build. So like the life gain off Pristine Talisman is probably not as relevant as we think. It's a mana accelerant, which is great. It's a mana rock, but I don't think the life gain doesn't pose too much of a threat for Bernal.
Another Visionary.
Sure.
If Anthony does do any sweeping of the table, then the life gain might matter a little bit. But until that point,
yeah.
1 life. Oh, did he forget?
I mean, what we're gonna see Batter Skull come down. We're gonna see.
Okay, he announced it. He didn't tap it physically, but he announced it.
Yep. Curse of Death's Hold's got to just come down here and just destroy him. Yeah, hard. He's going with Solemn. Is he trying? If he's trying to bait him into a bigger Curse of Death's Hold? Is that what's going on here?
Perhaps.
That is very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
What does it mean you have to worry about an Archdruid? I mean, I guess none of these creatures really matter that much. Like a 2/2 takes care of all of them on top of a curse. Yeah, try to bait Bernal into playing more of them. He has a go for the throat. There's not much to fear.
Go for the throat.
I like that play.
Lots of throats in Joe's deck.
Yeah, most of his creatures are throated. All of them, in fact.
Huntmaster drawn by Joe.
It's a 1 of. Well, it might be a 4 of.
Anthony preemptively pushing the
block.
Solemn forward. Hey, I got a block here for you. Want to come on in? I think I see 2 go for the throats in his hand.
Yeah, and Eason's got a this is more what his deck does, which just kind of kills some stuff and plays some things and wins.
Another multicolor land from Joe Bernal. Rootbound Crag this time.
Well, I like about Joe's deck because he's playing 3 Soul of the Harvests.
Right? Which is awesome.
I mean, it's kind of trying to be an Elves combo deck.
Chris Anderson lets us know he's dead. He won this round, but he's just playing for funsies at this point.
All right.
I'm guessing he's a 4-2. And are we going to see that Huntmaster?
I think so. Yep,
Huntmaster. Oh, yeah. MC Hammer there, down below on the closest to Joe there. MC Hammer representing a wolf. Let's see how long the judge lets that happen. I hope he keeps it on there for a while. MC Hammer's cool.
Yeah.
Some judges are very aggressive about making sure you have the right thing there.
Another
Solemn.
Solemn. Sure. If I were Eason, I would just pass. I would swing and pass the turn. Maybe not even swing. Maybe
I
just
wouldn't
pass the
bother
turn.
swinging.
Yep, and if Bernal tries to flip the Huntmaster, he'll go for the throat it. Playing a deck like Eason's because it's a control deck without card advantage, so it just requires a lot of patience.
Well, I mean, it does have card advantage that it can attain from Trading Post, right? Trading Post is its card advantage engine. Turn something into something else and have life to spend.
Trading Post plus Solemn is pretty good.
Yeah, I think
You
the
can
reason
sack-
that Anthony is playing for Trading Post is he can...
You can loop
Make
Solemns
loops,
with a Trading
yeah.
Post. Alright, so, yeah, not looking that good for Bernal. As long as he's in, I mean, I'm just saying, like, patience is really key here. You know, he's got to make sure this Go for the Throat goes on something that absolutely needs to be Go for the Throated. Like a Soul of the Harvest.
Batter Skull, go for the throat, go for the throat. I'm not sure what else Anthony has.
Curse of Death's Hold.
Oh, Kessig Wolf Run.
Alright, well that'll put a little bit of pressure on Anthony.
Nothing that Batterskull can't deal with, though. Anthony's going to wait until 8 lands to play the Batterskull.
If I'm Joe, I just attack with everything that is not my Huntmaster. Well, and Bird. Block, block, and we go all in to pump.
Pumping one of them, so he's going to pump one of them.
Pumping the Visionary,
Run it
looks
for
like.
3. And that's fine.
It looks like he's heading to untapped or unblocked Visionary. And Anthony just takes it. Before the flip,
Yeah, and then he'll
we see the go for the throat.
It's still on Bernal's turn even.
Yep. Is that a post?
Now one of the Solemns is still alive. Okay, so he wolf
He
from
pumped,
the unblocked
he
one?
pumped the unblocked one. Attack.
He'll hit back, sure. It looks like a ratchet bomb in his hand.
4, 5, 6.
Go Worm Coil.
Coil. Ouch.
Very hard for elves to deal with this card.
And
I mean,
in fact,
he can deal with Azuri and just like regenerate the blocker.
It's not very exciting though for an elf deck.
Oh no, I mean it's terrible, but it's an answer, you know. All right, so back to Joe Bernal.
7 mana from Joe. He can pump one of his creatures for toughness, but that's not enough.
Soul of the Harvest.
And says go. Anthony with a go for the throat in his hand still.
Yeah, which you'll certainly see come out here. Can't actually let your opponent resolve that.
He's happy to let this trade happen.
What's interesting, because he had to go for the throat, the Huntmaster, if Bernal is a 7th land and Zenith's up another Soul of the Harvest, Eason may be left without a way to kill it right now. Still will probably win due to the Worm Coil, though. Might just be able to win through a lot of cards.
Two mana.
Go for
the throat. 5 mana Batter Skull.
Yep. Eason turning on the aggro here. Or not the...
Locking down the control?
Yeah, that might be a better... Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly turning the tables towards he is on the aggressive end of things
So
now.
Bernal's going to have to get a Soul of the Harvest to get back in this, and then just kind of start going crazy. And he has a Green Sun Zenith. Very possible he can do that. Soul of the Harvest may be a stronger late game than most of what Eason can do, except Eason can eventually mutilate it, which is a problem.
And we see that.
Lanois.
And a draw.
Pass the turn. You know, yeah, if this goes late enough, though, yeah, Eason will still win this.
Was that a Curse of Death's Hold?
Well, he has a curse in his hand. It's pretty strong.
Did he draw another one? I think he might have just drawn one.
I'm unsure.
He comes in with Worm Coil and with Solemn Simulacrum.
And Batterskull, everything's in.
Okay, yeah.
So, chump block both, put Anthony Eason up to a very large life total.
10 more life for Anthony. 2 more damage on Joe.
Joe's just going to have to hope to draw into an Azuri hand. Azuri plus dudes. If Anthony can resolve a second curse, then Joe's outs become even thinner.
So I see Tumble Magnet, Batter Skull, Curse. That was the first curse we already had seen. There's the Magnet off screen.
Yeah, Magnet plus Curse will be good here. Or Magnet plus Bomb. Alright, well here we go. Joe's going to try to burn through lots of cards. Anthony is threatening to end step tap with Tumble Magnet, and then up Ratchet Bomb and kill everything.
Visionary, draw.
It's a good Mole Drifter there.
Huntmaster, draw gain 2.
And he's going to cast, yep, Huntmaster, and that draws 2 more, right? Is it non-token or just
Non-token.
creatures? Non-token. So it only draws 1.
And MC Hammer's back. A card for Joe, 2 life, a wolf.
Still a long ways to go, and still a pretty difficult one.
Another land. Ancient Grudge. Oh,
That's
wow.
huge. Wow.
Ouch.
pretty big.
The soul is tapped, it looks like. Well, wait a second.
Bernal's going to try to race a worm coil engine. Stranger things have happened. And 2 pristine talismans. It's quite a task he has. He's going to need a Zuri to do it.
Anthony Eason here, over 30 life, with a worm coil and a pristine talisman in play. Cavern of Souls naming whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. All his creatures are colorless, and Bernal plays no counters.
He's pondering his spell in hand. Tumble Magnet. Still at 3.
And has another Batter Skull. This one he's going to leave 3 open on.
That's a human cavern, though there are 0 humans in his deck.
Sure. Didn't swing with the worm coil engine. This is just that painful part where Eason just grinds out the game.
He's not quite to what you call, what do you call it?
I said garbage time.
Garbage time. He's not quite to garbage time.
It's close.
Garbage time, what is that for those of you,
so
for those who aren't
garbage time as the terminology where the game is over, but it's not over. Where it's like, you know, you're going through motions, but they're actually, one person's actually just dead in the game. The term came to play because, well, I mean, it's a sports term, I guess. We started using it in our playtest group because our playtest group, I'm pretty notorious for when I'm playing a deck and I'm in my own garbage time of playing horrible. If people were like, why are you playing so bad? And I just casually respond, nah, it doesn't matter, I won. I'd be like, no, but you're playing terrible. So.
Joe looking for some way to turn this around. The Ancient Grudge was a good start.
I mean, yeah, but wow, does he have a lot more work to do. There are lines that get him there.
Well, they
still exist.
He still has a Soul of the Harvest in play. That is going to be fuel for so much.
It's going to need to be an Azuri-based win. It's going to need to be pretty quick, too.
Another Hunt Master.
Sure.
2 more life. Another card. Another wolf.
So what he can try to do is double flip both Hunt Masters to kill the Germ token, and then when Eason, well, no, then Eason can just move the Batter Skull. I was going to say, if Eason tries to bounce it, he can grudge, but no, there's no way for him to get that Batter Skull ever.
Land for the turn.
He's going to have to amass a huge army and overrun a couple 100 times, and somehow hope that Eason doesn't have something to say about it. If Eason lands the 2 Curse of Death's Holds, then I think we're actually in total garbage time. I don't think Bernal can come back from that.
Sphere of the Suns drawn by Eason. Not really a particularly live card.
So what Eason's hoping to draw here is a Mutilate or a Trading Post, which that'll get grudged, but okay. Yeah, Mutilate or Trading Post or another Curse. And I think those will all pack the game away for him. Because double cursing seems totally inevitable. Then there's no Azuri, there's no Archdruid, there's no anything. Soul Harvest just draws blanks.
Anthony is in a position where he is he could run out of spells to cast that are relevant.
How so?
Well, he's only drawing 1 card a turn right now, and if he doesn't cast a card every turn, then the Hunt Masters will flip.
Okay, so they flip. I mean, all right.
Hunt
Masters flip.
Yeah, I understand, but
it's like
he's in a position then where he's got a lot of so there's still the Worm Coil there.
No, I mean, yeah, let him flip. That's what I would.
Ancient Grudge to the Worm Coil, to the Tumble Magnet.
That seems too hasty. Now Anthony Eason's trading posts are online. Bernal's going to try to Wolf Run massive amounts of damage over, but I just don't even see that line. Just doesn't seem like it gets there. I think you just draw cards till you hit a Zuri.
Well, he's got at least one other Ancient Grudge in his sideboard, so he's also going towards
If
that.
it's in his hand, yeah, but you want them all to blow up the awesome things.
Is that a Ground Seal?
Okay, so he's boarded in Ground Seal. Yes, he does have
Trading Post is turned off by Ground Seal. Part of it is turned off.
So which parts of Trading Post target? It's what cards in graveyards cannot be targeted.
Right.
Okay, so Trading Post essentially is neutered here. You can't recur anything with it anymore. That's pretty good, yeah. And as well, Mono Black can't really get rid of enchantments.
And he's hitting him in the air with the birds, which gets blown up by the Ratchet Bomb.
Sure, that's fine. That's pretty good for him, actually. Alright. So Eason now, yeah, I mean, Eason still has the draw of second curse, which he's hoping to get to. And he's doing something to Soul of the Harvest.
I think okay, in comes stuff. Wolf Block Solemn. Throw away that Visionary. There you go. Just, oh. He doesn't want Anthony to draw the card.
Just doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all about finding the Azuri. And really nothing else. Like, you get Azuri and Copperhorn Scout down, and now you can win this game. And every turn, Joe's threatening to draw, 2 or 3 cards a turn. He's got to keep Anthony off second curse. Anthony up to 43, Joe down to 12 from the Batter Skull. Yeah, the only way you can deal 43 damage is with multiple overruns.
Four mana. Mutilate.
Yep.
That was not a curse, it was a mutilate.
Oh, so he never had a curse in his hand.
He never had a curse.
Well, that's different then. All right. Apologies.
And there are now 2 tokens in play as long as he remembered to do that.
Yep, and he can put Batter Skull.
Double Mutilate. That kills everything. There is nothing left but the Batter Skull.
And the second one was to kill the
Soul of the Harvest. He's got Green Sun Zenith. I think it's going to be for Soul of the Harvest.
Yeah, I thought that's a little aggressive by Eason. I didn't really like that play, actually. I think he completely just let Joe back into a game that Joe had no business getting into. But yeah,
there's Soul of the Harvest.
That's the third and final Soul of the Harvest. If he can kill this one. It's been Joe's lifeline in this matchup, really.
Joe has drawn a lot of cards off of that Soul.
Yeah, and he's going to keep doing it now.
And give me another one. And land and Ground Seal number 2.
Passes back. Joe's got to be thrilled. He realizes that he's in this now.
Anthony playing off the top. He's going to reset his Batter Skull at the very least.
I think
he might
so.
do more.
Yeah, do it while... problem is if Joe draws a grudge, then we're in trouble. Pristine Talisman. Yeah, okay, there's no rush to reset the Batter Skull. You should always do everything when you have 3 mana up. Always. Like, you don't want this Batter Skull to get grudged ever, right?
And now he's tapped out.
Yeah, wouldn't you cast the Batter Skull next turn? Just, take a hit. Let it happen.
I would actually just... Yeah.
Don't let him blow up the Batter Skull, whatever you do. I'm okay bouncing it while Bernal's tapped out. We're cool with that. I just don't see the reason to do anything. Malira, that matters. Does that matter? don't think so. Creatures can't have counters, so wait, that stops Zenith, right?
Yes.
Alright, that's pretty good then. Sure, it's an anti-blacks on Zenith card. And Anthony's ways to win this game are slowly closing off. Joe's clawing his way back into it. It's really well played.
Now, Joe is looking at these cards in his hand, trying to figure out if he wants to put more on the table. I say do it. You know what? You're replacing itself right away. It's not like you're actually not getting anything.
I mean,
Another
when
green suns.
I've played enough Elves and Legacy to know that when you have an active Glimpse going, you usually just keep casting stuff.
I mean, if they kill everything, the only thing that makes it bad is if you don't have anything left in your deck.
So he's going to Zenith for...
Does he have Acidic Slime?
No. He
No.
does not. I mean, eventually I think he's
For a
Zenithing...
Wolfear Avenger?
Wolfear Silverheart?
I mean, Wolfear Silverheart, I meant to say.
Look for
Thragtusk.
Sure.
5 life. A
I'm
card.
wondering if he's kept in his Azuri Copperhorn Scout combo. I would have thought so. I would think that's what he's trying to assemble.
In for 6.
Sure, Eason drops to 40 with 3 Pristine Talismans, 2 Pristine Talismans in play. I mean, Joe's gonna try to chip away at this life total. That's pretty awesome.
And Joe declining to draw the card. In for 4 with the germ.
Before Bernal drops back down to 13. Eason gaining some life. Casting another better skull. No, another worm coil.
See, just that worm coil all by itself
So
is
much
so crazy
life
to deal
gain.
with.
You can do it. Bernal's still in this, which is awesome.
I think Joe's just going to be putting Birds of Paradise on the Wolf Run plan, and then slowly fight things like the worm coil with blocking with Thragtusk.
I mean,
The other thing actually that Joe has going for him is that if he can just survive, he could win this 1-0 while trying to kill Anthony.
well, it still depends on whether or not he has his reason. With all this mana and even one Archdruid, like, he can overrun his elves 6 times in a turn.
Well, that presumes, that he gets that many in play, but yeah.
I mean, it's not even that many, I think that's doable. I guess he has a lot of things in play right now that aren't elves, actually.
Like 3 non-elves, 2 elves right now. I
mean,
is
he hasn't
Malira an elf?
No, and Malira.
So it's 4
Malira's a
non-elves?
Silvok Outcast? I think Malira's an elf. Yeah, I think she's an elf. She's Silvok. Silvok are elves. We'll find out. 1 sec.
Human.
Human. Well, that must be why she's an outcast. Okay. So, no, she doesn't count. She joins the club with, like, Eternal Witness of cards that
Feel like elves.
feel like elves but aren't elves.
Christine Sprankle, take note. Malira, Silvok Outcast.
All right, so Wolfear Silverheart now pairs with Soul of the Harvest. And he still gets a card off that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it pairing with the bird? I saw him tap the bird too.
I thought he tapped the Soul of the Harvest. I could be mistaken.
He-
Bird
he
makes
might-
more
he tapped,
sense.
I saw him tap both of them, so.
Oh, he's tapping the Harvest to show that he's drawing a card.
Right, and the bird, there's the pairing. Best friends forever. Birds of Paradise and Wolfer Silverheart.
Fable of Bird and Wolf. Okay.
Yep.
Bird's going to start the slow process of trying to reverse the direction of Anthony Eason's life total.
And no blocks? Okay, take it. Take 4. Anthony. Back to the big frowns. Time slowly ticking away. Anthony has to win 2 games in this time. Should Anthony win this game, Joe is fully capable of winning in just a few minutes.
Sure. I mean, the bigger thing about Anthony is, can Anthony win this game?
Worm Coil. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thragtusk and Llanowar off block.
That seems totally acceptable.
Or is it going to be a chump block?
Counting lands. Chump block. Okay.
I actually like just double blocking. You know, like, if he's got the removal to 2 for 1 U, oh well. But
I'm not worried about that. If you had removal to 2 for 1 U, I'm pretty sure Soul the Harvest would not be alive.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
At all.
Exactly. That's and then like killing the Worm Coil seems just fine. And look at all of that mana that he has now. Is that another Thragtusk?
Unclear. I'm gonna go so far as to say is I think his Azuris aren't here. It just seems like because he can make Azuri and then he can block with regen. There's so many good plays he could make if he had an Azuri in his deck.
Yeah. Ancient Grudge in his hand.
Ooh, that is fairly strong.
In come some big guys. 8-8, 6-6, 5-3.
Batterspell doesn't hit Thragtusk. Now Eason with 6 mana up, so Grudge can't. He still can't grudge the Batterskull. But Bernal's trying. He's starting. There's 6.5 minutes left in the round. It's becoming fairly relevant.
I think Birds is attacking as well. And I think Anthony's just taking it. If he is taking it,
sure,
that's
he's at
6,
50.
14, 18, 23.
All right, he's at
damage coming
27,
in.
but he has 10 power of lifelink and 3 pristine talismans.
I think it's relevant, actually.
Yeah, I know it is relevant. That's the best part. See, actually, the cool part about Bernal's deck is when he deals damage in increments of 20s and 30s. Like life gain is only does so much. Sure, he's gonna go
Okay,
up
with this block, that is a 9-point swing on that. So 23 becomes 14 change. And then we're going to see a Wolf Run, I think, here.
Wolf running something for 4. I assume it's the Thragtusk. It's the best play. You get by running the Thragtusk, you push in an extra 1 point. That would otherwise be eaten extra by the Batterskull. Or by the Germ.
Dead Germ. Worm down. Or Germ down. Thragtusk replaced
now,
by
I was
a
pretty
3/3
sure
beast.
that was a wolf.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Anthony returns the Batterskull.
Yep, not going to grudge there. He's going to grudge the Worm Coil during combat, most likely.
That is such a fantastic.
Worm Coil coming back in.
All right, and here's where you got to grudge it. And Eason, the problem is Eason's still at 42. Ugh.
Joe offering up some dice, offering up some MC Hammers as well.
Yeah, ironic. What is it? Anthony Eason, actually, himself and Christian Calcano often refer to themselves as the Worm Coil engine between the two of them, which is really fun. Apparently, Eason is supposed to be the. I think he's the Death Touch one. I was talking to them about this at a tournament, and I actually had the two of them sign my Worm Coil engine tokens.
Fun. And another Worm Coil. Oh, how frustrating for Joe.
Well, what he can do is he can let blocks happen and then grudge the worm coil with blocks on. It's still depressingly ineffective.
Worm coil is incredibly difficult for an aggressive deck to just beat through.
I mean, like I said, Azuri, I still think is the way that he'd do it. It just must not be. He must have boarded it out.
I think one of the things Joe was going, it looks like, for singular threats, is what it appears to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Azuri seems so bad because of the removal are mutilates and zeniths, you know.
And third worm down, I think, isn't it? Yeah, that's the third worm coil engine to die. The one was killed by Anthony by himself. We see our Joey and Joes, Big Head Joe and Joey Pasco there. That is 2 lifelink and 2 death touch worms. Prediction: Bird of Paradise over the heads of them all. Joe does not have to win this game. Anthony has to win this game.
Yeah. And you see on your clock, you have 2 minutes remaining in this game. This is game 2.
And Joe comes in with a 4/5 bird and a 3/3 beast. Anthony trades a beast for a beast. Sorry, a worm for a beast.
I think Joe has gone into trying to draw out this game mode. If I'm Joe, I would do that. You know, let's just 1-0 win this.
Give me a Huntmaster. Thrag Tusk works too. Gain
Sure.
5, draw a card, get a beast. Well,
There were 2
eventually a
Thrag
beast.
Tusks in his deck, so yeah.
And what else you got, Joe?
Alright, so then he goes through his yard. He can't actually cast. I don't know what he's trying to cast out of his yard. Okay.
Elvish Archdruid.
Alright.
Elvish Archdruid might be on top of the Wolfir Silverheart, but Wolfir already has a friend named Bird of Paradise.
Right, so they're actually not paired there.
Another 3 mana.
Another Archdruid. And then he'll pass. Playing them as a pair, yeah. Now access to lots of mana for Anthony Eason. And we're about to hit time. This is going to be turn 0.
Anthony has a Buried Rune in play. Can't do
use
anything
it.
with it.
The
Ground
ground
Seal.
is sealed.
5 mana is Batterskull once again.
Yeah, there's no way for him to crash through in the amount of turns he has.
And MC Hammer is the germ. He equips it to the Death Touch.
Swing in, yeah. Bernal can just chump block for the rest of the game here.
Anthony in for 8. Pardon me, for 7. He's thinking about throwing Thrag Tusk at it.
Sure, it's a chump blocker that chump blocks, and then you get another one. It seems great.
I would actually rather throw away the elf.
I'm not sure it matters much.
Oh, I don't know that it does either. Time is out. They are in extra turns. This is going to be turn 1 of extra turns for Joe Bernal.
So the important part is that Eason has 2 attacks, is what you'd have to say. I don't see how he wins this in 2 attacks. Looking through his deck, if next turn he draws Mere Battle Sphere, that's still not enough. It's not enough Mere to do that. I don't see a way for him to win in 2 attacks out of his deck. If Bernal just says go twice and chump blocks a bunch. think Bernal's still trying to win though, which is respectable.
And he's like, I know you got 44 life, buddy, but I can do this.
Oh, no problem. Once he gets going, he'll deal 44 easily.
Oh, maybe I won't. Wait. Green Sun's for 3.
So does he have the Azuri in there? That's what I've been
He might have
wondering.
one.
Okay,
There it
so he
is.
did have it the whole time. Now, okay, am I missing something? Or was earlier, why were we not on this plan earlier?
Mutilate could take him to a bad place. I'm not sure.
But there's that, yeah. All right.
Draw for the Soul of the Harvest.
I don't know if he has Copperhorn Scout. That might be the big... I mean, now Eason can't even swing through. Another Archdruid.
Another Druid. A Burr or a Llanowar Elf. Oh, a sword. Sword. Equip it to the bird.
All right. I mean, so Eason's not going to win this due to time constraints, but I'm pretty sure that even if they're playing this out, I think Bernal wins this game regardless.
Yeah. Joe comes in for 6.
Yeah.
Plus whatever's in Eason's hand. I think Eason's hand might be empty, but
He may have 1 card, not much.
Joe has 4 cards. That's 4 life.
Yeah. Can Anthony draw a Mutilate? So that's what Anthony needs to draw right here is a Mutilate, right?
I think
That doesn't
if
even
he does,
work
it doesn't
because-
even kill everything.
Because of Azuri just over and over and over and overrun. Yeah, Azuri can protect that. He has access to 2 overruns.
Turn 2.
And it's another swamp for Eason. He's going to concede it. All right, Joe
Okay.
Bernal wins 2 games to 0. 2 games to 0. Yeah, 2 games to 0. Green, red, elves. So Eason's deck been a winner except on camera today. We saw both his losses.
It's
Must
true,
feel
it's
bad
true.
about that.
Well, earlier you brought up you had a prediction of a 2/3 of games you said probably were 1-2-0.